Ever wish you didn't have radiator problems? Ever wish you didn't have a radiator? Ever wish you could sail through mud or snow? Ever wish your car didn't guzzle so much gas?
The VW Group are one of the largest manufacturers of cars in the entire world. But they all had very, very humble beginnings. In fact, it all started with one car, the Type 1, better known to you and me as the Beetle. So to tell the history of the Volkswagen Beetle is to tell the history of Volkswagen in its entirety. Post-war Germany, that's the First World War, was a very dismal place. After Germany's defeat, the Treaty of Versailles had dictated huge war reparations to be paid. These repayments had pretty much crippled the country financially, and poverty was widespread. Most people couldn't afford a car, even though Germany had car manufacturing, but Germans just couldn't afford them. The best they could do was a motorcycle most of the time. In 1933, the National Socialists came to power, and with them Hitler assumed control of Germany. One of the things he set out to do was to give the citizens of the Third Reich the same kind of access to cars as Americans had.
The so-called people's car, or in German Volkswagen, would have to be cheap, reliable and easy to build. It had to be able to travel at 100 kilometers an hour and transport 2 adults and 3 children. It had to be as affordable as a motorcycle and easy to drive. Many companies submitted proposals, but it was Ferdinand Porsche with his aerodynamic, rear-engined, rear-wheel drive design that was chosen. Now there were claims that his design had been borrowed from Czechoslovakian manufacturer Tatra, a matter that was never fully resolved before Germany's invasion of the country a few years later. But copyright notwithstanding, the design met the requirements and preparations were made to put the car into production.
To fund it and to make sure people could afford to pay for the cars when they were ready, the German government set up a savings scheme. Anyone who wanted to could put aside 5 Reichsmarks of their salary per week and would in time save up the 996 Reichsmarks it would take to buy the car. 336,000 people signed up to the scheme.
Unfortunately for those people though, the majority of the funds were seized by the Soviet army when they invaded Germany in 1945, and none of the people who had diligently saved for their cars received their vehicle.
By the end of the war, the factory found itself in British-occupied Germany. The original plan was to dismantle the factory, ship it back to the UK and use it for car manufacturing in Great Britain. But no one wanted it. Not one company wanted to take on the factory.
The story of Volkswagen could have ended right there, but thanks to some intervention from the British military, the factory stayed open manufacturing Type 1s for the British Armed Forces in Germany. The popularity of the Type 1 grew, and soon Beetles were being shipped around the globe.
The Beetle became one of the most popular cars across the world, and by 1955, 1 million had been produced. It would go on to sell over 16 million, breaking the previously held record of the Model T. The Beetle is the most manufactured car in history. Manufacturing in the German factory went on until 1977, and in fact continued in the Pueblo factory in Mexico until 2003. What's so remarkable about the Beetle is not necessarily how long it was manufactured for, it's how little it changed over that time.
A Volkswagen